I remember when I was introducing one of my former leaders to somebody, I introduced them as my boss. Hey, I'd like you to meet my boss, so and so. And then after that event occurred, my leader came to me and said, "Hey, the way you introduced me as your boss, can you not do that again?" And yeah, sure. Why? Why? What happened? What's wrong? And he said, "Well, what do bosses do?" And I said, "Well, I guess bosses boss." He said, "Right, bosses boss people around." And that's not what I do. I don't boss people around. I lead, so you can introduce me as your leader. And from that time on, that's what I did. But that interaction several years ago taught me two things about leaders. First, leaders do not boss. Bossy people boss. Leaders do not boss. Bossy people boss. I think of Lucy from the cartoon Peanuts. Lucy bosses her brother Linus around. Lucy bosses Charlie Brown around. Lucy even bosses Snoopy the dog around. Leaders do not boss. It taught me that. Leaders lead. It also taught me that leading is harder than bossing. Being a leader is harder than being bossy. Anybody can boss. We've all seen kids on the playground, 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old. You can pick out the bossy ones. And then there are two kinds of other kids around that bossy kid. They're the ones who just do whatever they're told, they're followers, so they do it. But then there are others who say the classic sign, the classic word, right? You're not the boss of me. You're not the boss of me. And they don't want to be bossed. And the fact is, very few people want to be bossed around, but almost everybody wants to be led by a great leader. So, how do you move from bossing to leading? Well, I think there's two key things to move from bossing to leading. First, we have to understand the difference between bossing and leading. Bosses tell you what to do. Leaders lead you to a better place. Bosses bark out commands like Lucy, as if we were dogs. Bosses bark out commands. Leaders, however, strategize and make a plan, a good plan. Bossing takes pride, it takes ego, it takes self centeredness, all of those things that I don't think we want. Leading, however, takes thought and humility. So we need to first of all understand the difference between bossing and leading. That's the first way to get from a boss to a leader. Secondly, we need to commit to leading. Commit to leading and decommit to bossing. We need to commit to leading, realizing that leading is harder than bossing. So when I commit to leading, a leader has a vision of a better place. A leader then makes a strategy to get to that better place. A leader then executes that strategy with excellence. Leading is harder than bossing, but it is so much more rewarding. Leading is much more rewarding than bossing. If we don't make the move from bossing to leading, we're going to lose some of our best people because most people don't want to be bossed. They want to be led. So be that leader today. My name is Bill Werner. This is Leadership Made Clear. Visit my website, billonleadership.com. Leave a comment. We can discuss this. And I want you to make today the day that you commit to leading and decommit from bossing. Have a great day.